Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Stoneblock 2. In the previous episode we set up our Void Ore Miner Tier 3 and a Void Resource Miner Tier 2, and those have been working hard getting us the resources that we need. We currently still don't have enough for what we would need to get into the next tier of Void Ore Miner or the Resource Miner, so I'm just gonna let them be. They're gonna do their thing. They're currently using, this one's just 100 RF attack, and this one is using 750. I could put in some modifiers to increase the speed, but we can probably sustain our canola. We're using 600, we're producing 600 times 3, so that would be 3 times 6 is 18, so around 2,000-ish, so a little less than 6,000 basically, because we're using 9, so that would be 5,400. I did math, wonderful. Okay, so 5,400 is the maximum output that we can do here. We're currently outputting or inputting 2.1 thousand, so that's the output basically, because this is the flux plug. We are sending the power though to some other machines as well via our cabling, which, now that I think about it, you can't really see how much power you're using unless you would put sieves. Why are you spitting items? And why is this full? Hello? I got distracted. Hello? What got stuck? Why are you not sending things? Hello? Why is you not send stuff? Is there something that has a full drawer that can't have anything inside? You guys have void upgrades, right? Yeah. And yeah. What is our issue? We have void upgrades on everything here. Furnaces, you're doing things. Pulverizers, you're not doing anything. I assume it's just this not retrieving. Redstone enabled, whitelist. I don't know. This was working not too long ago. We are blacklisting everything here, and then we're retrieving just specific items. How does the system that worked break? So let me just turn you off for the moment. And we will see if these guys will empty out, because it's just not picking up the ores for some reason. What? Let's do this. Oh, why did glowstone go in here? Why would you ever think of putting glowstone in here? That is not the thing that I would want. So we are blacklisting actually everything, because we're whitelisting those 3, so we can't, if we blacklist the peridot, the ruby, and the sapphire, I think that's fine as well. Let me just grab all of these out, just so we clean it up a little bit. I'm gonna go and break this, and let me just actually clean up this mess and hopefully get it fixed. Okay, it was just that piece of glowstone for some reason. I don't know why it got in here. We're not ore dictionarying any sort of dusts or metadataing or anything. We're using metadata, so it should not do. We can also use ore dictionary. I think that will make it possibly better, and we can also set up a use ore dictionary here. The mod owner, I think it isn't gonna matter for us, but at least it's gonna work now, so we can turn these on again. And I don't know why it made up an issue, or at least it didn't start spitting a hell of a lot of items on the floor, so I think it's all good. I added a couple more cloches here on this because we were running low on canola, and I think we're gaining now because we are turning our canola back into seeds for the production of empowered seeds and crystallized seeds. And as you can see, we're down a little bit on refined oil on canola oil and refined oil and even empowered oil. We're doing fine on this tank though, so that is all right. On the crystallized oil, I think we should be able to keep up. You are not getting enough power is our issue currently. So what if we just remove this and give you a flux point? If I have some more still. Flux point. Can I just get one real fast? Almost. Can we do a core? Need some of these. Not an issue. Just get, okay, just one. It's all good. Okay, we're gonna put you here. We're gonna say canola power. Do your thing. Start processing all of the canolas. I think it's just too much strain going onto one different wire. So what we could possibly do is have this energy cell output to two different sides. So if we grab our posts, because I'm trying to use those, we can put one over here, and then we grab our MV wire stuff. So all of the connectors, and we put one here, and then we wired this guy to this guy, right? And then we take our wire cutters, I think I have them in here, and we can cut this wire and get this and this hooked up, and then this and that is hooked up already, and we're gonna just link you to here, right? So we have that connected. We then disconnect this wire and connect you with this. So these are drawing a little bit. I don't know how much exactly this uses, which is now on this power. And then this guy is using 300 RF a tick. So I think, I don't know how much the atomic reconstructor is using. There is a thing in immersive engineering to check the amount of power going through the wires. I just can't remember what it is right now. There's a, I think it's a meter of some kind. Multimeter, pedometer, engineers, voltmeter. I think this is the thing. So we need compass and then this. Can I actually see how much power? Energy stored, 0 out of 1,000. So you're not gonna tell me exactly how much you're using. We don't have U set to output. So let's get this on output. That is the bottom. Or something, or another side. This side. All can be an output. Okay, so we should now be able to see energy. 0. Yeah, this filled up, but it still says 0 out of 1,024. And here we can see, yeah, energy storage, but it doesn't really show very well because the energy stored in the things is just 0 apparently. All right, I think we should be good on this, but we're gonna be getting probably into better power systems. We can look into mechanism and getting ethanol generators going, because I think that will be kind of our best bet for power. We could go draconic as well at some point and get like a draconic reactor. We probably have extreme reactors. Extreme. Yeah, we have extreme reactors. We might as well just do this, I think, once we get a stable production of yellorium. I mean, we are getting uranium as well, so we could just do an extreme reactor and sort out our power. That might be a thing. But I wanted to do one thing today, and that is look at an environmental controller. That to build isn't that difficult. We probably can build it like right off the bat. So we can get one of those. Wonderful. This is going to use a little bit of power, probably not too much for covering our base, but I would want to get the speed plus, or maybe just the regular speed, which is a horse. So we can set up that with horse bait, I believe. Horse bait. That is 2 golden apples. That shouldn't be an issue. I might actually have some horse bait at spawn. And we can probably set up a grass patch somewhere here in the base and set up the way to get horses. That might not be a bad idea. Then we need an environmental controller. Then I would need the saturation module, which is zombies. So we can get those at the Cursed Earth farm. So let's make some syringes. We are gonna need 2 for this and 1 for this. So 3 total for each of the modules that we want if we want the second tier. So we're gonna get like that, and like that. And anything else that we would want, night vision, not really. Water breathing, we don't need. We could do peaceful, but we have mega torches, which won't use power. We could do flight. What does this need? Aghast. Aghast, how would I get aghast? That's, I think, if we drop squid in, if we spawn squid and put them in witch water, we would get ghasts. That might be a thing. because then I always use like the personal nanobot beacon for flight, and we are gonna get there fairly soon when we upgrade to the next tier of Void Ore Miner. And we can then just use that. For the moment, we could work on getting the gas. That might be an interesting idea. But let me first of all get the horses and the zombies. So we're gonna go at cave spawn. And the zombies should be able to spawn in our... when everything loads in here, as soon as we remove some of the torches. So I'm gonna wait here, get ourselves the 3 zombie things that we need. I'm also gonna check in these if we have a horse bait, or did I toss it in the trash can? I might have tossed it in the trash can. We have golden apples though, which is fine. We can just get 2 horse bait and then be short 1 golden apple. But we did get squid bait as well, and then some more raw fish. I assume squid bait is just this. Yeah. Okay, sweet. Let me farm up the zombies. Are you you're a compressed zombie? What if I just kill you with my staff of traveling? Because I don't have any other sword. Which I probably should have in here. There we go. All the zombies. Okay, I'm gonna do this for a moment, and then we'll be back to get ourselves some horses. For making this environmental controller thing, or actually the saturation module, we need specifically ink sacs. It isn't interchangeable with anything else. So I set up another deconstructor here. Why do you not have power? Oh, huh. I thought I had power down here. Boom. There we go. Now you have power. So we're gonna take our lens, toss it in here. We're gonna get a lens of color. We're gonna put you over here, and then we can toss bone meal and get ink sacs, which is really nice. So that is kind of an easy way to get black dye. And I totally didn't think of that. And somebody posted it in the comments a couple episodes back, I think. So thank you for that. So we can get a saturation module, and then let's grab our syringes like so. And a saturation plus module. And if we then go in here and we put this like smack dab here, give you the saturation module. We're gonna say radius. How much do we want height to be 90? Actually, a little less than 90. So let's do 75 and up to 120-ish. 75. We're gonna see how much power that's gonna use, and let's do a radius of 50 for now. That is inactive. It's covering 361,000 blocks. We need another flux point, or we can probably grab it from here. What we'll actually do, we're gonna take this, put you right here, and then we're gonna have some flux ducts, and we're just gonna put this, like this, like this, and like this, and that should power everything. We should be fine. Okay, so you are using how much? 1,000 RF a tick for this. Let's do 80. We're at 90, and our thing is like, let's use 85. And then we are like a couple blocks higher, so like 100 will do. 100 and 85. And then we can do a smaller radius, I think, like 30 blocks should be fine. That's 135 RF per tick. And once we get into a extreme reactor, which should be pretty soon, we're not gonna worry about using that much power, because we can just make an insane amount with an extreme reactor. Okay, cool. So now we have saturation. We kind of don't need you anymore. Even though this is kind of free, I have to replenish it every so often, which is kind of wonky the way it works. I don't know if it just bugs out and stops working, because this should work all the time, and it has been for a while. But at least it's just 135 RF per tick. It's all good. So for the horses, let's go somewhere like here. And we're gonna set up a little bit of an area. Let's say 5 by 5 should be enough. We'll see if what the bait will say when we place it down. So the bait is no water in the area, so we need a water bucket. And let's put you like here. Are you gonna say the bait will work in this environment, move out of range, so you don't scare the animals away? Let's also just get a I have them in here, I think. Let's just put you here. And that'll light up the area. And we can just leave the area, and eventually we're gonna have horses. So I'm gonna wait a bit. I have 3 syringes ready, and I can get the horses so we can get ourselves the other module that we want, which is speed. One easy thing I figured out to use is just the time in a bottle. You can speed up the bait, and you get horses super duper fast. So it's been like 30 seconds, and I have 3 horses. I have some of them as baby horses, and I think it's gonna still count as a horse. If I hurt you with this... Yeah, it still counts as a horse, so we should be good to do this. Please avert your eyes, kids. Do not watch this. This is cruel and gruesome, and nobody should do this, even in game. Okay. Now we can make our speed environmental module and the speed 2, which is going to be like this. The speed plus. We're going to see what speed we get. Hopefully it's not too fast. So if we put this in here, this is using 270 and we get speed 3. I mean, that's fine. It's a bit faster than what we had before. And then for the squid, if we want to turn them into gas, I think that environmental module will use up a whole bunch of power. So I think I'll just wait on that. We have, I mean, if we need squid, just going to save the squid bait. And we have some animal nets here that we can toss away. That part in there, we're going to get rid of once we start building over there. So I think right now, it's a good option to set up a little bit of a better power, because this canola plant is gonna keep us running for a little while, but I think it's time we start working on an extreme reactor, and we can put it possibly over here. Might be a good spot for it, maybe even somewhere else. I don't really know. It doesn't matter that much. You know what? One thing that we could do is start getting into a floor below, because I am using currently quite a bit of chunk loading to load this area. And we can just go underneath, so we don't have to load more and more chunks. We can just stay in the same chunks. And I think that should be fine, even though it's probably better that we spread things out and reduce the load, because it's not loading too many items in the same area. So you know what? Here is a decent area. We have a bunch of uranium, which I think works in all of the recipes for the extreme reactors. We're gonna see if we need specifically Realorium. So at extreme, we have a reactor controller which can use uranium. Yeah, that's fine. So let me set up a bunch of the recipes for this. We're gonna need reactor casing. So we're gonna need some graphite, which is just smelted coal. So for the moment, I'm just gonna grab a bunch of coal. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blocks, stacks of blocks. That's gonna make plenty of graphite. I'm just gonna toss it in here and get that going. So that should be fine. And with the graphite, we can then craft ourselves all the things that we need for a reactor. I'm gonna go probably on Google's and look up the reactor simulator and see how big of a reactor we want, and then we can actually set it up. I have most of the reactor built. I decided to go with an 11 by 11 outside, which means there is going to be a 9 by 9 on the inside, and I'm pretty sure from my testing that I didn't do right today. I did it a couple months ago, I guess. For the reactor control rod layout, I think still it's better to have a checkerboard pattern and then an outside edge that is empty. So we're just going to use Resonant Ender for now, and eventually probably upgrade this to Gelid Cryothium if we even need to. So over here, I am currently processing a bunch of Ender Pearls down into Resonant Ender. I hope that that should be enough. I think 2 stacks of Ender Pearls are going to be plenty of buckets for this. They actually might not be, because that's 9 buckets per side, so that would be 18 just for 2 rows, and then we need the things in the middle. So I'm probably going to do 1 or 2 more stacks of pearls. So I just am basically waiting on this to get processed. One thing that we can do to increase the speed is we can get 2 of these, and then 2 of these, and then some augments, and then grab the kits out. Bam, bam, and then bam, bam, and this is gonna use a whole bunch of RF, I think, once it charges up all the way. Do we have any of the faster ducts? I have some redstone energy flux ducts. Flux duct. I could probably just make some conduits. I have these. These do 5,000. So what if we just vein mine that, then go here, and then give these guys a little bit of a boost in power, like so. And then we should have enough to connect this, and even some spare. Wonderful. So you should fill up with power a tiny bit faster now, and I can actually use this a little bit more on it to get it sped up a tiny bit. So this will store 40 buckets of Resonant Ender. So once that is full, I'm going to see if we have enough to fill all of the reactor, and then we can set up the redstone control. I have everything filled up with Resonant Ender, and we can now just cover it up. And one reason why I'm not using reactor glass is lag, because apparently rendering all of the liquid inside takes quite a bit of a strain on the server. So we're just going to build the entire thing enclosed with reactor casing and not cause any lag. It's going to look slightly less nice because of it, but it is all good. It is assembled, it is running, but we don't have any sort of way of inputting or outputting the Yellorium or having any sort of redstone control. So for that, we're gonna need, if we look at extreme reactors, we are gonna need some reactor access ports. So we're gonna need a total of 2. So that is all the reactor casings we have. Can I make like 100 more? Nice. Okay. So 2 of those. One is going to be for the input and one for the output. And then we need a couple of redstone ports probably, and 1 flux power tap. So one of those is going to go, let's say, right over here on this side. We're going to take the power tap. We're going to go here, and we're going to go here. So that's going to fill this up. And then we need a power monitor as well. Power monitor. I just like using this because it's super simple. We need a conduit probe, so I need to do a tiny bit of crafting. I have some more electrical steel going over here, so let me just craft that power monitor, and then we can set everything up. All right, so I have everything set up here. This reactor redstone port is set to input and toggle reactor on and off and set from signal, which means it's going to work like a lever. We're going to turn this on and the reactor is going to start. And as soon as we don't have a signal, we're going to turn it off. So the power monitor is a smart item, and it works in a way which we can set up, let's say, to emit a signal when storage is less than 25% full, and stop when the storage is greater than or equal to 95% full. So currently, this guy is not getting any power because this is set only to input. So let's set this to anything, so you will have power as well. Yeah, that should be fine. So as soon as this starts draining and falls below 25%, we should see the reactor turn on, and we can test this by, let's say, getting a trash can for power. I know it's gonna waste 25 million RF, but we're gonna see. And in the meantime, we're gonna set up this, and we're gonna give you an export bus for uranium. And for the moment, we're just gonna take a stack of blocks and toss them in here. And apparently crash the server, no. Can you accept uranium ingots? You can. Okay, you just cannot accept specifically uranium blocks from immersive engineering. Okay, so we're just gonna pre-fill this a little bit. Like so. How full are you right now? Getting there. So let's get some more. Just a little bit. Because this is gonna burn uranium very, very slowly, so we don't need any sort of speed upgrades on the export bus. It's just gonna work. And over here, apparently we're storing pistons. I wanna actually do chest for the moment. We're just gonna put you here. And the priority we're gonna put, actually, for the moment, we're just gonna take this guy off just until we produce some cyanide. We don't even need the chest, actually. We can just put the storage bus back and then just wait for some cyanide. Oh, we do have one. Okay, magical. Storage bus, cyanide ingot, and then we can quantify and lock and add the void upgrade and the 6 storage upgrades. And the cyanide we can at some point reprocess into plutonium and use that for, I think, turbines, or we can repurpose it in the reactor if we wanted to. So this, I think, is turning on the reactor. Yep, you can see the reactor is powering up, and it is outputting as much power as it possibly can through this Energy Ender conduit, and it's gonna be starting to charge this up. So that's 20,000 RF. How much are you actually making? It's making 168,000 RF per tick. So that is too much. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna set Shift Alt is -1. Control is changed all around. So we're gonna control, and we're gonna increase insertion to like 90%. And that is gonna lower the power quite a bit. So we're gonna see, we want it to just around 20,000. I don't think we need more for the moment, because we don't have a specific setup for power. And at some point we can just basically have a giant capacitor bank or some sort of other power storage, and we can turn the reactor on and off depending on that giant capacitor bank. But for that we need a bit more system setup. So we're currently slowing down to 40,000. So I think we can increase, whoops, am I in everything? Is everything fine? We're okay. Okay, I staff of traveled, I think, in the ceiling. So we can increase a bit more. So let's do Control, Shift, and Alt. And let's increase it to like 95%. Okay, we're now at 3,000. Or are you slowing down because you're off? Because the sky got full. The sky got full. I want to empty it out a little bit more. So I want to see this guy turn on. I mean, we can probably just remove this and that's gonna turn it on, just so we can see the power production. I mean, let's just do this. Because I want to set this to quite close to 20,000 RF a tick, if I can. And we're gonna see if this is gonna max out at around that number. If not, we can increase the insertion by a tiny bit. But it's looking to slow down at around 20-ish thousand. The heat is that gonna really be like perfect? I think that's pretty cool, because the heat is slowly still rising, but I think it's stopped now. Yeah, I think we can increase it by 1 more %. Control Shift Alt and insert. So that'll be around, yeah, that's dropping. Okay, so let's do it 95. Control Shift and retract. So that should, all of them should be at 95. Which is lovely. So let's go down here, and we're gonna actually deactivate the reactor because we want the power monitor to be turning it on and off. So over there, and we can close this off, set this guy to be in and out. And we're currently gonna be only outputting 25,000 RF per tick because we don't have a better capacitor bank. So I think it's best if we eventually tear down our canola power. We can set up a giant capacitor bank somewhere close to here. We could probably remove our machine wall, or maybe even just put it like over here, or maybe over here. I had a special plan for this, not specifically the drawers, but this area here, which I think could be really cool. So I think this is gonna be it. We set up the super duper reactor, which is gonna sort out our power problems that we're currently having. And one thing that we can do right now is just set this guy to be reactor power. And then we can increase this by like a bunch, because this is gonna use just 1,000. That's like a rat's tail or a mouse's tail. I don't know what the words would be, but that is pretty cool. So with that, I want to thank you all so much for watching. I'm hoping you enjoyed today's extreme episode, and I will see you all in the next one. Have a great one. Bye-bye.